As we continue to explore the concept of God, that mysterious idea, and the way in which different cultures and religion understand that mystery, we turn to Judaism. Before we look at the idea of God, let's recap some background to Judaism. The Jewish religion dates back thousands of years to the tribes of the Middle East. Around 3,000 or 4,000 years ago, the first Jewish scriptures were written. Abraham is the father of the Jewish tradition, and the Jewish scripture makes the claim that God promised the land of Canaan, which came to be known as Palestine and today Israel, to Abraham's descendants, who came along somewhat later in life for him. Half a millennium later, God is purported to have made another covenant with Moses, who led the Israelites out of slavery in Egypt. Judaism may be the oldest monotheistic tradition in the world. This means that Jewish people accept only one God. The tribes of Israel defined themselves by their acceptance of one God, which was different to the beliefs of the surrounding tribes at the time. Jerusalem has always been an important place to the religion of Judaism, and today remains the most holy site. The Jewish scriptures, or the Torah, were formed into a canon, a collection of works that form a single text, around 2,000 years ago, which is when Judaism became a more structured religion. These texts were mostly written in Hebrew. There are many different branches of Judaism today, which have developed out of the religion of the ancient Israelites. You are fortunate that Dr. Lynch is not going to ask you to learn to recite the Shema from memory, as she had to in Year 8. However, it is a useful piece of scripture to explain Jewish beliefs about God. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord alone. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might. Keep these words that I am commanding you today in your heart. Recite them to your children, and talk about them when you are at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you rise. Bind them as a sign on your hand. Fix them as an emblem on your forehead, and write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. The first part of this prayer reflects the Jewish belief in one God. Jewish people do not accept idolatry, that is, the worship of any other god. This is an important part of Jewish prayer. It is recited in the morning and in the evening. These words are also behind several Jewish traditions and rituals, such as writing these words on a parchment which is placed in a receptacle. Those on the left of the picture are called the tefillin and are used in prayer. This follows the instruction to bind the prayer as an emblem on the forehead. The box on the right is attached to the doorpost and is called a mezuzah. Jewish people touch the mezuzah as they cross the door threshold, reminding them of the words of this prayer. The psalm on your screen is one example of the way in which God is written about in the Hebrew scriptures. The Psalms, in particular, poetically characterize God. See how many different descriptions of God you can find in the psalm on the screen.